Yes, good evening, everyone. So I'm so happy tonight. Like every night we have our podcast, I have to
every
say.
night.
I'm always happy.
I see you every 2 weeks for a podcast.
Yes. So welcome here. This is Talk It Out. It's me, Francesca and Lisa, and we have a special guest tonight, Annette Aghazarian. And then soon we're going to discover what this beautiful woman is doing.
What are you all about? Oh my God. Not like we don't know already because we've been yapping for like
exactly.
how long.
But then that's for you. And first off, I want to really say that you can find our podcast on YouTube, on Facebook, on Amazon Music, on Apple Podcast, on Spotify. I believe I said everything. And I want to give a special thanks to JJR Studios for producing, taking care of us, creating all the things that you see, that you can hear. So thank you so much. And also want to say a special thanks to Johnny Cafe for actually hosting us tonight and hopefully other nights. So, I mean, we're here, ready to go. So
we're already laughing.
We've been laughing for a little bit already because we were talking already a lot.
It's because everybody, I mean, I'm sure everybody can agree, the traffic situation in the city of Montreal, I don't even want to say it. It boggles my brain. It really does. And the weather, I don't even want to say that either. But I am. It's horrible. But we're all here and we're happy and we're laughing. We're laughing.
Actually, we're not really laughing because it was kind of a tragedy just to get here. But you should take the best out of it. So we're kind of laughing now. So first off, I want to introduce. I said we have a special guest tonight, Annette Aghazarian, and we're very happy because besides the fact she's a beautiful woman here, and she's also a writer, a journalist. She wrote for Montreal Gazette. She had several other experience. Currently, she's writing and very active with Montreal Rocks, which is a local music blog that has lots of views. And she's been interviewing many artists, local artists, but not only international. She's been doing interviews, reviews, Zoom interview, and we were talking about the mystery of editing. So probably we're gonna tackle it too. That's gonna be a tough one. And she's also into photography. She's also a photographer. I've seen some of her pictures. She's doing lots of things.
That concludes our podcast.
Exactly. That's why she's here. So, Lisa, do you have some question for our special guest?
I do.
Okay,
I have a booklet here, but I do have questions for you.
How much time we got?
Well, I don't know. Seeing that we've been talking all along, it would have been like a 2-hour podcast.
Possibly.
So first and foremost, I'm sure everybody would be interested to know for you to give us a little bit of a background, like where you're from, what led you to this point, this career that you've chosen.
I've always loved writing, and I've always loved books, and I've always loved music. So I'm able to combine it all together. So I have a lot of early childhood memories listening to music. We grew up listening to a lot of music in our house. We all took piano lessons and things like that. And I always loved writing. I was just drawn to writing and reading books. When I was a child, I was trying to remember because my earliest memories, and my mother used to bring me every Friday, she'd bring me to the library, drop me off for a few hours, and I would just gather all the books and records, because in the olden days, you could play records at the library. I don't know.
Steph would know that.
Do you remember these times?
I have no idea what you're talking about. No idea what you're talking
I was trying to
about.
explain it to my son because these are like because he has Spotify and Apple and all these mediums now. And as a child, like we had the radio and that was it. There was we didn't have computers, no internet. Anything.
What about the yellow Walkman? Come on.
I have
Yes, we all had the yellow. You don't know what a Walkman
Speak
is.
for yourself, Vani.
I have a Discman and it still works.
Oh, really?
Sweet.
I do.
I used to run with a Discman. It was like
it's like this big.
Oh my God.
And then I used to plug it into my Pontiac Sunfire.
Oh my God.
That was so cool.
These are memories.
Remember that plug? It had the cigarette
Yes,
lighter.
you need the cigarette lighter to make it.
Because the cars didn't have CD.
No, that's it.
Back. Anywho. So that's it. So I would go to the library and put on records and listen with my little headphones and discover all kinds of music. And I was always fascinated by all types of music, different countries, different cultures, different genres. So I just grew up like that and I followed it. Anyways, so that's where it started, the writing and the music together.
Okay.
But then things change. You know, you go to school, you go to work. You don't always know that what you really enjoy you're going to end up doing, you know?
Yeah.
So I pursued a lot of different avenues. Like I went to college, I went to university, I studied different things. I did journalism, I did creative writing, I did literature. And then I worked for a big corporation for many, many years. And I'm not going to say the name because I don't want to say anything bad. It was a great company, but I realized it was not a good fit for me. So fast forward, I started freelance writing, and then one thing led to another. And many, many years later, I ended up writing about music, which was my favorite thing to write about. So,
Nice.
yeah.
But what is it about music that inspired you to go towards that venue? And I'm talking about music in general. Is there a specific genre that you were more that you sensed that it was more of an inspiration for you to lead you to there? Or was it just the idea of the music, the idea of artists?
Well, I remember like going to my very first rock concert when I was like 14, 15, because I had older cousins that were like boy cousins.
Chad Kroger. Yeah.
And no, my first real big ass concert was the Clash at the Verdun Auditorium.
Oh,
Yeah.
amazing.
And I was like, I was a kid, and I was just
Clash. Wow.
the skinheads and the mosh pits,
The mosh pit.
and I was just like stunned, you know, like my mouth was open, and I was like, wow, like this is a completely different world.
Yeah.
You know, scary and exciting,
Yeah.
but it felt really good to be there. You know.
Yes.
I mean, fast forward many years later, I was at what was the name of that band I just went to see not too long ago? I blanked out and I don't have my phone with me. It was a ska /punk with a female singer.
Oh my God.
Oh.
What's her name?
The skin? No.
No. Oh. Anyway, it'll come to me later. So I was at another type of show like this, you know, and it was like 30, 40 years later, and you're like, I still get that same rush.
Oh,
And that
nice.
same feeling that I got like 40 years ago.
That's
you know?
amazing.
Now it's bugging me. What's the name of that band? It's a female singer. She sings that song Gasoline, the one about lighting the match.
Oh my God.
The Gasoline
Wait,
song
wait,
with the
wait.
lighting the match.
Gasoline
She has-
song. My
she
mother
has black hair. Oh, she's come on, Google it. Cause
Yeah,
I
that's
I
what I
can't get into my phone. Okay, there's
What's her
something
name? The
Gasoline song.
no. No. No, what's her
Not
name?
Halsey? No Halsey?
No.
Halsey, Prevail, Haim, Seether.
No.
Band? It's a band, no?
Nightcore.
God, I reviewed them and now I'm blanked
Ah.
out. What was their name?
Oh wait,
Should I go get my phone?
hang on.
The
Okay.
The gasoline
No,
lollipops.
no.
We're gonna discover.
It'll hit
this.
us. It'll hit us sooner or
It's
later.
gonna,
Yeah, it's gonna come. It's
because
gonna
now
come.
that we are like
it sounds like the Replacements, but it's not the Replacements. It's a name like that. Anyways, okay.
Anyways,
I'll
that's
come back to
interesting.
it.
The Rembrandts.
but it,
No,
Damn it,
no,
I tried.
no.
now it's gonna be like okay,
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
it. Okay, it's gonna come.
Okay, it'll come.
It'll
But
come.
The funny thing, because you were talking about your first concert and mine, very Italian. My first concert I was 9 years old, and it was Antonello Venditti.
I don't
It's
know
the
who that is.
Flaminio Stadium,
Oh.
which is like a very local singer. And it's like he wrote the songs like Grazie Roma,
Oh,
Roma,
nice,
Roma,
okay.
Roma. Yeah, that was very.
The Interrupters.
There you go. We got it.
It's perfect.
That was so appropriate.
Yeah, because interrupters. Yeah, amazing.
Sorry, it's the Interrupters.
But see, we needed
Sorry.
to push you
I
out of
needed
your
to-
thoughts.
Yes, sorry.
So now I have another questions like that. It's more like really close to the idea of writing. So you have now you're writing about music mainly, but you also had the chance to do, as you were saying, to study creative writing and probably to write, of course, about other things. So what it entails or differs to write about music, at least for you, compared to other subjects, let's say news or stuff. Is there something that I don't know you like more because maybe you can be more creative, or there's the little touch, the little feeling that you can put that. What's the difference? What it entails?
So, what does it entail? It's different. I've written like newsletters for corporations, and I've interviewed people going through, different types of experiences, things like that. So, writing about music that's a hard question.
Yes.
We
like to guess on the spot sometimes.
No. Why do I like? You know what though? Writing about music is really hard because you often everything I say sounds cliche. It's like it was a great show, and I felt the energy of the crowd, and I end up using a lot of the same terminology. It's the vibration was high and the show was electric. It always sounds like the same freaking review over and over again. So I try to make it personal. How did I personally feel? Like when I got to the venue, how did I feel? What did I notice right away? I don't just put the set list out because I used to be like that. It would be like, okay, these are all the songs they sang. This is, they were good.
I'll go through that.
This was my favorite song. I like this, but like music is so emotional.
It's like a flow that comes and goes.
But you feel it. I mean, everyone's there sharing the same experience to a certain extent. Because like, how often are you at a concert, right? And they're playing a specific song, and you look around the room, and there's like all types of different age groups and different people coming from different cultures and different backgrounds and different experiences, but they're all singing the exact same words. And maybe for them it means something different, but in that moment they're feeling the same emotion, So I still feel that way when I go to shows and I'm in the moment, and I still have the same reaction that I did when I was like 14 or 13.
That's beautiful.
It doesn't change. It's like revisiting old songs, So I have a kid, and sometimes he'll go through my records. I have vinyl records, and he'll pull one out. I'm like, oh my God, he pulled out Van Halen. I have Van Halen, Women and Children First. He's like, Ma, why do you have this record? Like, it's not a very popular record. I'm like, I haven't played this record in like 30 years. So he'll put it on, and I'll revisit it, and it'll bring back memories, and it'll bring back emotions. And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember when I was in high school and I bought this record, and I went downtown to Sam the Record Man with my friend Nina, and we skipped school, and then we had a cigarette, and then, it brings you back to that moment.
Like postcards from the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like photographs, like looking at a photograph, and it brings you back to the memories.
Nice memory. A lot of nice memories.
We were lucky actually at the time. We did not have like
internet,
Facebook, internet, because otherwise we would be
probably
terrible.
Not here.
But
our parents.
I think the constant in all of that, like we were saying, the Walkman and music is the constant. In 20 years, they're going to be remembering today hearing Justin Bieber when they were, or on the iPad or whatever it is. They're going to have memories, and music is the constant. I believe it's always the thing that stays the same. The medium is different, how you listen to it is different, but it'll always hit. That girl I kissed, whatever. The memories come back with music.
But I love that vinyl is back, and I kept all my vinyl records from when I was a kid, and my son plays them, and now people like Jack White are starting like labels and printing on vinyl, and it's resurfacing again.
Yeah, for sure. That's amazing. Also, to have like this kind of a taste, it feels different, it smells different when you touch it. Like to have a cultural product in your hands. Besides, like we have MP3, WAV, like all these files now that you cannot touch. Like I had a big collection of CDs, like at least a CD was a thing, And now with vinyls, it's beautiful because you have
artwork.
like the lyrics sometimes, the pictures.
That's it.
And it was like, it was
amazing.
no?
I feel that songs don't stay long enough nowadays. Like it's onto the next one really quick. Yeah. Whereas when we were younger, it was like that song for 2 years was at every party, at every. Right now, it's like the summer after the end of the month. What's the next one? Pitbull just released 12 songs, right? Like whatever it is,
They all sound the same.
But even if you think about albums, right now we're still talking about albums from the past. They're so important right now for us. But right now, as Stefan, what you were saying, right now they have this song, and it's one summer, while we're still talking about Clash, we're still talking about Led Zeppelin, we're still talking about all these people,
I find that even with the vinyl, they're timeless and they're genuine, and it's you can identify yourself with it. Like the kids of today will identify themselves with Discord or whatever, but I don't find it holds the same meaning.
Yes, but on TikTok they identify with all the songs that are playing on TikTok for
Zeppelin,
2 months.
But I'm
Led
talking
Zeppelin
about
just released their catalog to TikTok. Did you hear?
Really?
Oh, really?
Just recently.
Isn't that hilarious?
Now they're going to make even more money.
Oh yeah.
Good for them. Why not?
They needed
for
it.
them,
They
but
needed
them, their excuse, everything they do, like, that's happening, they
True.
can do, we kind of excuse them. They
Yeah.
can get all the money they want.
It's true, because
They
it's that.
deserve it.
Because it's that.
Because it's that.
I just had this great conversation with an artist just last week who's releasing an album, State of Sate, November 4th.
Nice.
And she was fabulous. And she's coming out with vinyl. And we talked about how, as a child, she grew up you put the record on the turntable and you leave it there and you let every single song play.
Yeah.
And the song tells a story. One song goes into the next song, right?
Yes.
And it's not like singles like on Spotify where you play one song and that's it. It's like you put down the album and you play the entire album and it tells a story.
But that's what why I say it's very authentic, because it gives you a background without even realizing it of the artist.
Even the order of each track,
Yes.
the way it unfolds is telling you a story.
Yeah.
Everyone here has listened to Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon, right?
course.
It starts off, and then it breaks. You know what's coming and you know where it's leading.
Yeah.
And you just sit there and you experience it like a whole trip.
Yeah, sometimes it's so crazy, because if you think the original experience of the people who actually, for the first time, heard this type of music,
Yeah.
like, oh my God, like I'm still sometimes when I listen to the album, like I'm like, oh my God, right, ready to fly,
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yes.
sit tight.
It's a
But
trip.
then, can you imagine at that time
Yes.
to write the music, to listen to the music, to feel that experience was so magic. Like,
I find there was more inspiration back then. Like today there are, but I find that there are artists. Now I'm not just talking music. I'm talking even in the acting world, in artist entertainment in general. There's a lot of people who emulate or take ideas.
Yeah, they
from.
copy. Yeah.
It's remakes, song remakes,
Yeah.
Whitney Houston or whatever. That's the only difference I find. Back then, I find it was very authentic in terms of the sound, the music. You create it. Now it's all synthesized, or more so, I would think, than from back then.
Yeah, definitely. Most of it's done in studio.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Sometimes, like Zeppelin, I remember recorded an album in a mansion, an empty mansion, and they just hung microphones from the top to get the general sound of the, as opposed to now, it's a lot of times a drummer might not even play in studio because,
Or they're not even together. Like each person like records their track separately, and then it's mixed in a studio. So there's not that feeling of all these musicians together in a room connecting.
Yes,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
But that's why
we're hoping that it's done, in kind of quote unquote rehearsal.
Yeah.
We're hoping that's the songwriting part of it is still there, and I'm sure it is. It's just a lot of the pop artists now is very formulaic. It's very this is what we need. Bridges are out of let's write a bridge. No, that's not in right now, not for today's music. Maybe in a couple of months we'll go back to having a bridge in a song.
Exactly.
But
But it's like having a formula now, as you were
yeah, it's a
saying.
formula. It definitely is a formula.
And someone else is creating the formula for the artist.
But
and
it's
then
what the
just-
problem is. It's the market as well, because who buys the music? It's the parents of the 13 and 14-year-olds and the old school guys like us.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said you qualified.
But it's true. It's true. They know who to write. I'm talking radio stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
They write it for the kids because they're the ones that are going to invest the time into it. That's when they're discovering music. My son now, he's 14. All of a sudden, all these heavy metal bands are coming. He's like, I love this. I love that. Lamb of God. I want to go see the So at that's when they're discovering it and they're investing into it. And the parents are always purchased, back in our day, purchase. Now it's all free. But still, back in our day, it was the parents that would buy it for the kids. I need that album. I need the new Extreme album, or I need the new Metallica album. And my parents bought it for me, as a gift, right? It was a gift.
Yeah, it was a great day.
Unless we stole it from Columbia House,
It was a great day. Like,
Don't get me started about Columbia House.
Columbia House, yeah.
Off the record.
Off the
I'll tell
record,
you
okay.
my Columbia House stories.
Oh my God. But I find back then they had, it was a departure to your traditional musical sound. I find they experimented a lot. in the past. Now I find it's all put together. It doesn't come together organically. I find it comes together. It's put together. And that's, I find the difference. I'm not sure if you would agree, but
not all artists, but the majority of artists. But I still know artists that have their studios and get together and jam and practice and come up with different sound. Like I know still artists like that.
Yeah.
And they're not the ones making a shit ton of money.
Yes.
Obviously. But I've talked about this also with people. And it's like, at the end of the day, are they happy with their song? Is it the song that they want to release out there? You know, how do they feel about the song?
Yeah.
Right? It didn't make $10 million. It didn't get 10 million streams, but I'm proud of that song.
Yeah.
And it's my art and I'm happy with it.
In the end, it's,
That's
you know,
the core, the pure reason that they should do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that I find that distinguishes you from, I guess, a creative talent. I mean, you want to be distinct when it comes to anything you do in entertainment, especially in music and in acting. You have to have that distinct flavor, something that you haven't found before.
Well, you want to stand out to be either the next big thing or the new sound.
But you know what? I find that everybody wants to be the next best thing. I find the person who is humble and doesn't seek it out, but gives of themselves within that final product.
Yeah.
I find that that's what stands out.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Now, it doesn't necessarily mean everybody can identify with it.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need the whole globe of 1 billion people. But I mean, that small following that can identify, that means you know you've done something right? You stood out for yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
But there's also like a lot of artists like don't necessarily have like 10 million followers or fans, but you don't need 10 million fans. You know, 1 million fans are enough. You know?
Yeah, you don't need that much.
We have people around.
Are you
us.
waving me down? What's happening?
But Annette, I have a question for you. So you've been going to many concerts and interviewing different artists. So maybe you can have, like, we were talking about a little bit about trends. So now everybody's concerned with streamings, and music is sometimes created for like younger crowd. So like on the table, no, like, okay, just planned. So do you see some trends that goes through, like, you know, like the music, maybe
like
trends,
formula?
exactly, a formula all over the, even like more experienced artists are forced to use, even could be also from, you know, not only musically speaking, not only in terms of sounds, but also in terms of a marketing approach.
Well, I reviewed Paul McCartney's album last year, his latest, and I forget what it's called. It's a number. It's like McCartney.
Boy, it really stood out then.
But
the name is.
But then it was revisited by other artists. Like he got other people like Beck and stuff like that to come. Now, McCartney doesn't really need to release any more music.
No,
he doesn't need any money.
The royalties that he has.
Exactly. But it was during the pandemic and he was in his castle in England somewhere in his farm.
Yeah.
And he has a studio and he just started making music, which that's what he does, and good for him. But then he got young artists, very young and new upcoming artists to remake the songs with him.
Oh, nice.
So, and they were happy to work with him, you know? So it was cool. But now, what was your question? I just lost my track.
Like, if there's some trends that you've been seeing throughout, not just music trends, like really in terms of something that artists right now, they do, and you have seen like in many bands, in many things, like.
What are the latest trends right now?
Yeah, exactly.
That you're noticing in terms of the industry.
If you notice something.
I'm not sure how to answer. Like trends meaning, like, here's the thing now. I know a lot of people with studios in their home.
Yes.
And
that's
they have like a lot of like technology to self-produce. So they don't need, even especially a lot of women now are producing more than ever.
Yeah.
So
this is actually a good point. Self-producing now is a big thing.
Lot. I mean, primarily there was like 2% of producers in the music industry are women. Only 2% out of 100. Yeah, it's so now there's more and more women producing, and like if I have the technology and if I have the knowledge and let's say I go to school and I learn production and stuff like that. I don't need a bunch of men telling me
That's
you have to put on booty shorts and sing about twerking, which is like the majority of songs.
Nice.
So like, I mean, you know what? I like Doja Cat and I like Megan Thee Stallion. I do. I'll listen to some of those skanky songs. They're fun. I do. Like my son was on we got in the car the other day. My Spotify went on and it was Doja Cat. My son's like, "What, are you listening to this?" They're like, there's two songs that they make me laugh and they're funny and they're, you know.
Why not?
With wine,
Sorry?
No, with wine, it goes down great.
You're driving, Bonnie.
No, you know what? No,
Doesn't matter.
Whatever.
if I'm stuck in traffic and I'm cranky, and I put on like some Doja Cat song, it's gonna make me laugh.
Really? I should have done that this evening.
So
we should try.
So my point is though, but those are I call them the booty songs. There's just like a whole genre of booty songs. That's all it is, and it's twerking and it's booty. And that's great, but it's great, but it kind of depresses me on another level because it's like, is this all there is? Like, is this all you've got?
Exactly.
Like, what's gonna happen? Like I'll still listen to Diana Ross. She's like 75 years old and she's phenomenal. Let's say.
She's phenomenal.
See,
or Tina Turner.
You.
Let's say.
Thank you.
Let's
What?
say
80s.
Let's say
80s.
Tina Turner. Okay.
Tina Turner,
Now, in 50 years from now, is Doja Cat gonna get up
Absolutely
in a
not.
booty
Probably
short
not even close.
and sing about her booty? Like,
Yeah.
I'd rather not see that.
no, but I'm
Me neither,
saying it's not gonna stand the test of time.
I don't think any music, I don't know. It will, but I don't think it's going to stand the test of time like the songs that we, like Stairway to Heaven is always Stairway to Heaven. And I don't think there's going to be songs like that are created today in 20 years. I don't see that happening because like I said, they don't last. They last 2-3 months, a summer, and then it's over.
There's no impact.
You know, it's my whole high school. Every dance I went to in high school was "Stairway to Heaven" was the last song.
Yeah.
Right.
It's slow dance, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah, that's it.
Now, if you go to the second dance and they're still playing the same
God,
songs,
it's
it's
a
like,
booty
oh, what's
song.
happening? We heard it last dance.
Yeah,
You know.
like what do they slow dance to? Like a booty song? Like
I don't even know.
Or they twerk. It's
No,
twerking.
I know.
I don't. Okay, I'm old. I feel old. It is what it is.
I have a question for you. Touching on something you just said. What is your impression, or why would you? What is your feeling on there being only 2% female producers?
It's tragic. I just had an interview with the Margaret McGuffin, who's what's her? I have to get her title right. My brain is like tired.
Google.
I didn't bring my phone. She's the CEO of Canada Music Publishing.
Okay.
And she's the first female of that. And she started a program called for women producers. And I wrote an article about it, and I interviewed her last year. And it's all about women in the music industry producing more. Because if a woman is producing her own music, she's calling the shots.
Yeah.
She's not in a room. I'm not dissing men on any level.
You know
Not
what?
now.
Even
But
if you do, I'm okay with it.
No,
because
but I'm bringing back to my Joni Mitchell theory, because see, back in like 50 years ago, now her albums are classics, but 50 years ago, the industry didn't like Joni Mitchell. She was difficult.
Mm-hmm.
She was a bitch. She was, they did not like her at all because she had her vision.
and she stuck with it.
Yeah. She knew what she wanted. She had her sound. She wrote her lyrics.
Yeah.
She composed her music. She went from folk to jazz to blues. She went everywhere because that was her creative process, right? I read her biography and it's really, really good. She's fascinating. So back to Joni Mitchell. So
you have your Joni Mitchell theory.
Yeah. So she was difficult, but she wanted to produce and she wanted her vision. So going back now, so if more women are producers, it's like this is the sound I want. These are the lyrics I want. Like as an artist, you should just be able to execute your own vision completely from A to Z without other people in the room. And these are just businessmen or whatnot, corporate people saying, we need more booty songs, or we need you to sing about this, or stick to this formula. And a lot of female artists, like back to Joni's, because she was a folk singer, then she came out with jazz, and they're like, no, stick to folk because nobody's going to buy your jazz, right?
Yeah.
But she's like, well, I'm not into this anymore. I'm evolving. as an artist, I'm
Yes,
changing
for
and
sure.
I'm growing, right?
Like it happens,
And they
painting
didn't-
and pictures and
that's
everything, every
right.
form of art.
Exactly. You evolve. You
Yeah,
change.
for
You
sure.
grow.
Meghan Trainor actually surprised me when she came out. I was super impressed.
Yes.
In her video,
Uh-huh.
when she saw her own video, she asked the company that did it to take her off and not play the video because she's like, that's not me. I'm not that slim.
Yes.
So I don't know what you
Okay.
did in the video, but that's not me, and I don't want
Right,
that playing.
right.
And she re-recorded the video, from what I
didn't know.
understand.
She
Yeah,
was very
Meghan
good.
Trainor. She said,
She's
that's
a
not me. I'm a bigger
songwriter.
girl,
Yeah.
and that's not me in the video. And I don't want to fake it. That's a fake
Yeah.
me, and I don't want that.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. It's great that the industry's
She's
coming around.
She's actually a really good songwriter.
Phenomenal.
And she writes lyrics for other people.
Yeah,
Yes,
Nice.
what
she's
she
phenomenal.
does.
She's
Yes,
phenomenal. I
she
love her.
is.
Yeah.
But now I believe, like, at least in terms of images, the music industry is open up a little bit. Like I've seen also there's this amazing
Lizzo.
singer-songwriter.
I love Lizzo.
Yeah.
LP.
Did you see I saw her perform, and all her dancers,
Oh, really? Great. I did.
they're
larger
all
women.
they're all
Yes.
bigger women. And I was
Yes.
like, I
Yes.
love this,
And
man.
She's great. And
Phenomenal.
She's, real.
She's great.
She's great, by the way. But we have like Lizzo, we have LP,
Yes.
we have, I mean, many others that
Yes.
now like
Yeah.
my
I
brain
know.
is burnt. But as to see, like in terms of visually speaking, like
Yeah.
the music industry is totally open. It's open up a bit about
Yeah.
More,
that.
more.
And
A
also
little bit.
because I think there's been an open discussion about female women in music, at least in front of the scene, because we still have a long talk to
Yeah.
do behind the scene.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you were right, 2% of
It's
producer, but
2%.
3% only in the entire music business industry are women behind the scene, only the
Yes.
3%.
Yes, exactly.
So that's crazy if you think about it, not including, of course, singers and people who are in front of the scene. So there are two different, discussions open there. So finger crossed, but at least we're, things are kind of feeling moving. No, what do you think
Well,
about
that whole thing, and I was telling you about the Margaret McGuffin, and it's
Yes.
called Women in the Studio, and it's an initiative, and it's like they're getting them from high school, kids. They're focusing on girls to realize that, like, if I'm in this music industry, if I'm a producer, if I'm behind the scenes, if I'm in the in the booth, in the recording studio, like, not only do I have more control, I'm going to make more money because I'm not paying that sound technician, I'm not paying this producer, that mixer, this guy, that.
Yeah.
I'm not paying 20 people.
Yeah.
I know how to use the equipment, I know the technology. I'm going to make that money, and I'm going to call the shots, and it's going to sound exactly the way I want it to sound. It's my vision.
I love
and-
it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's empowering. It really is.
Well, it's like you make a painting or you create some
You're in
artwork,
control.
and then somebody comes and takes your painting and is like, oh no, we need more booty pictures in you. We need more
You
booties
just
in
see,
your painting.
you see boobs in the background, in the clouds.
now it's working. Yeah.
Now it looks better. I see a nipple there. That's perfect.
Like if somebody had told, like, O'Keeffe, the famous female painter, like, no, we need some booty shorts and that and behind the flowers.
fun.
Yeah, that's it. Like,
Yeah,
know?
totally.
Exactly. Next question for you. What is the biggest challenge you face as a writer?
Writer's block.
Well, that was fairly simple. Okay.
Look.
Can you expand on that, Annette?
Yes, it's me when I'm home alone and I'll sit in front of my computer and then I'll click, I don't know, YouTube, and I'm like, and then I'll go into my YouTube spiral downwards. What is it, the black hole of YouTube?
Yeah. You start looking and then you
And
cannot
then
like.
it's like, oh shit, it's 3:00. I gotta, I didn't finish my piece, or you get blocked or distracted, or that's my biggest challenge.
Oh,
You
boy.
know?
I know. I can imagine.
But and it's happened where I'll leave a piece and I'll just leave it hanging, and it'll be like a few days will go by, and I'm like, I don't want to revisit it
Yeah, I'm like you.
because it's like, I don't know, like I left it hanging.
Until it hits you, like driving to whatever. You're on your way to a coffee shop to meet a friend. You're like, oh, now I got it.
When I'm driving, I get a lot of ideas when
Yeah.
I'm driving. That's why voice memo. Like I
that's true.
do a lot of voice memo. However, also, and now I forgot what I was going to say.
Challenge.
Challenge.
You
as
said
well.
challenge as well, and I said about pieces that I leave hanging that I get stuck, and I'm like, I don't want to go back there, and what am
Yeah.
I going to say, or I don't want to finish it off. But also because I'm when I went to school, we didn't have computers. So we used to, I had a typewriter back in the olden days. And now what I love about, I have Word on my phone. Like I'll do talk and text. And sometimes I'll get an idea and I'll just say it into Siri and she'll type it up for me. And then I'll cut and paste. So whereas we used to think writing is very linear, like the beginning, the middle, the ending. But now I just interviewed someone and we spoke for over like an hour and a half. And we went everywhere. We talked about zodiacs and astrology. And then her mother passed away. Like it went everywhere. Yeah. And it was about her new album. And so I replayed my Zoom and I was like, what am I going to do with this? This is like a whole, remember we were talking about multiple personalities? This was like a
schema of all kinds of things happening.
A lot going
the next
on.
Level.
Yeah. And I'm like, what am I going to pull out of this?
Yeah.
So anyways, I took pieces like a puzzle. Yeah. And I just put all these, now I have 2,000-3,000 words that I've written. So now I'm just going to place them as a puzzle.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Now that's going to take some concentration, but I have the body is there, but I have to piece it together. Okay. And I find sometimes I work better that way. Not just sit down and write everything in one shot. No. Yeah. It's like, okay, you know what? Maybe this will be the intro. So I cut and paste. And it works.
Good.
Because you edit and then you remove and then you add and you remove and you...
But I think everyone has his own style and way of working and creating and building. Yeah. But it's also a creative piece, because writing as well is a form of art and it requires lots of concentration, ideas, how to put these ideas on paper, because maybe you have this amazing concept and then you don't want it to sound already used, it's always there, I always use. So you always try, there's lots of work there. So, and on that, I have a quick question before we have a funny
game.
Yay! So
nobody told me about the game.
Oh boy!
Yes, that was the intention.
This is part of the multiple personality.
But really, a quick question about interview or review.
I like interviews better.
Okay.
Reviews, I've done many reviews, and I'm not in a position to judge because I had to review Paul McCartney's album, and I'm like, who am I? I'm going to tell Paul McCartney, first of all, he's not going to read this, or if he does. And he's like, what does he care what I think, right? But I'd like to describe the album to the best of my abilities. And it's funny because my husband always makes fun of me. He's like, you never say anything bad. I'm like, well, no, because what's the point?
Exactly.
And sometimes I don't like an album and I won't say much about it or I didn't enjoy it, but it's not my place to say. I'll review the album and I'll say McCartney released this, he worked with Beck, it was interesting, it was this, it was that. I'm not going to
more describing things,
instead of giving if you like this, then you will like it. But I'm not going to tell you if I didn't really.
But is music really? It's kind of like art. It doesn't mean it's for everybody.
No,
just doesn't mean because you don't like it, it's not good. It's just not It's very subjective. It's not my thing.
The purpose of my album reviews is to give artists publicity. That's for me, because I feel for artists. I know that times are tough and, they need good reviews. They need publicity. So that's how I approach it.
And that's refreshing, by the way.
Okay, but
it is.
Yeah,
it is.
Definitely it is.
My question is, how do you choose which artist to publicize?
Here's what I like now at my age and my stage of life is that I'll find people and they come up. I get a lot of messages from random people. And it's from the internet, Instagram and whatever, Messenger, and people will find me and be like, can you review my album and can you interview me and can you write about me and can you take my picture? And often I'll look through it and I'll be like, I don't always do it, if I don't, let's say I really don't like it. I'm like, I don't want to listen to this. I'm like, oh God, no. and I'm not putting my name on this, or whatever. It's not for me. Yeah. It's not a good fit or whatever. But I've met a lot of young people, especially too, that they just need a break. Yeah. They just need that one review. You know what? Who I like to review is the opening act. When I go see a big show, I'll write okay, Crownlands. You know who Crownlands are? They're from Ontario. You have to check them out. They're phenomenal. So I saw them opening up for what's that something? Not Prodigal Sons. What's that something Sons?
Glorious Sons. The
No,
Glorious
another.
Sons.
Oh God, my brain. Anyways, not Prodigal Son. What was that band?
Not Glorious. Are you
No,
sure?
it's not Glorious Sons. It'll come to me later. Anywho, so they opened up for Jack White,
Oh, nice.
and then I saw them opening up for 2 bands, and I went up to them after the show, and they were really cute young guys, and I'm like, next time I see you guys, you're not opening up for anybody. It's going to be your show. And they were just so sweet. They were so appreciative. So when I did my review, I wrote more about them than I did of the actual band. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's awesome.
So now they're doing their own tour, and I think they won a Juno or something. They were like
nice.
best Canadian rock something, you know? And they're really, really good. So I like to see opening acts. I like to see bands or musicians when they're just starting out,
Okay.
and then giving them that little, not that they don't need me. When you're good, you're good. But I like giving that reassurance, you know?
Very nice.
Yeah.
So, do you have
Okay.
another question before we go into our game?
Do we have time for another question?
It's the Grand Poobah that has
We're asking-
Does this mean 10 minutes? Wait. Does it mean 10 minutes?
That
or does
means
it mean
10 minutes.
or does it
No,
mean
he's high
enough?
fiving you from a
Oh.
distance. He's
It's
like,
like,
yeah.
Get her out of here.
Oh,
No.
we should have brought our dogs too.
Yeah. So, another quick questions out of curiosity. So, what was or is your favorite artist you reviewed or interviewed?
Good question.
Okay, so
far.
like back to the new artists. So a couple of years ago, I went to see a gospel singer named Mavis Staples.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if if you Google her, you'll know who she is. And one of the supporting acts was this beautiful young girl named Honora. And I was like, wow, who's this girl? She was from Montreal. It was for Pop Montreal. And I'm like, I've never heard of her and whatnot. So I reviewed the show. And then I asked Steve Gerard at Montreal Rocks, and I'm like, okay, get me an interview with this girl. He's like, who is she? I'm like, I don't know, but she's good, and I'm fascinated by her. I want to talk to her. She's doing really well now.
Okay.
So I interviewed her a few years ago, and I've followed her career, and she's really doing well. She's from Montreal, Honora, and she's really talented. And I like to. What was your question?
That's music.
Writer's block. Writer's block.
No, what was my favorite interview?
Exact so far or review.
You know what it is? It's my discovery. It was when I find somebody fresh, and I'm like, wow,
It gives
who's
you
this?
that thrill.
I get that excitement that I got when I was a teenager, going to see a band, saying, wow, like I'm discovering something. And I still get that when I see new, fresh artists, just like, wow.
Yeah.
And old artists. Mavis Staples was 80 when I saw her.
Wow.
And she blew the freaking roof off the Rialto.
Amazing.
Oh man, everybody was on their feet. Do you know who Mavis Staples is?
No, I haven't.
I'm not going to sing on camera,
But
but you'll know the
I'm
song
gonna check
when
it
I
out.
tell
Yeah,
you.
for sure.
She's crazy good. So, like I said, I like to find new music.
Okay.
Yeah.
That gives you the thrills. That gives you that emotion.
But
yeah, it's
as for-
exciting though.
For interviews, like you don't know where it's going to go until it goes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I've been excited to interview like these really popular bands, and then once we get there, they're like really dry and like
Oh no.
not very cooperative, or maybe because I'm a woman, they don't want to talk to me. That's or they've like you know,
Standoffish?
they're cocky.
Oh.
That's happened.
That's
I've been dismissed.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I
Really?
had a press pass once and a photo pass, and the security came and was like trying to get rid of me once. So, I guess I don't know. That's happened too. That was just like one of your obstacles is being a woman.
Yeah.
I had to like whip out the like, I'm here, I've got a thing.
It's because you didn't work.
Maybe that's why.
You didn't wear the booty shorts.
So it's always booty.
It's always the booty shorts. That's it.
I gotta hit the gym. Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Or maybe take a glass of wine. That is so much better.
You're
Gym
right.
and wine.
Gym and wine.
Why divide the two?
Wine and gym. Like we can do wine,
harmony.
gym, wine.
Wine, gym, wine. That's a good.
Harmonious,
That's good.
harmonious.
You drink wine, you forget about the gym.
Exactly. But in the end, does that really matter? Does it really
Nah.
matter?
I'm over
Makes you
that.
feel better about the wine. That's all.
Makes you feel better about everything. You know, the sandwiches are still sitting on
Yeah,
this.
I know they're good. They're good. Cafe Johnny,
Cafe
good sandwiches.
Johnny is, I
Yes.
know. I was like, oh my God, I love the pulled pork.
Yeah.
Plug. I love the pulled pork.
Exactly.
Okay.
What? Anyway,
What?
game time. What?
Game
I don't know.
time.
You said you love the
Are
pulled
you-
pork.
are you-
I love pulled pork.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I don't
So
know. Where are you going with this, man?
I'm not saying
I have
anything.
No idea.
We're gonna explain the game.
All right.
So Stefano
Yes.
will ask some questions, like saying what's your favorite, or what's if I say that what
Also,
comes-
it's like association.
It's a
Exactly.
rapid response.
It's a
I'll
rapid
ask a
response.
question. You have a couple
I'm
seconds to
never
come up with the answers.
I'm never
Let's
able
go.
to explain this
It's a
game.
category.
It's
You ask
just
you a
not rapid
question,
response.
and you
So
have
So
to
it's
name
like-
three things within the framework of that question. And you have
Okay.
5
Yeah.
seconds to do it.
Oh.
We're gonna laugh a bit. That's
So
basically what
also,
it is.
I have to name a few things on that subject.
And you're not
Yes.
being judged.
yeah.
If you win the game, you win a big prize.
It's only the entire internet sees this. So don't worry
Yeah,
about
nothing
it.
major.
No pressure at all. So feel
All
free.
right,
Yeah.
let's do it.
And you're actually going to start it off because this question is geared towards you. And it is, name 3 pickup lines.
How you doing?
straight to the Italian, right? How you doing?
Three pickup lines, okay? Second one. What's your sign?
Nice. All right.
Oh,
Um, my mom's not home. You can come over. I'm just being.
That's a good one.
this is the
being
plus
silly.
21 version.
I never got that. That never happened to me.
I'm being childish.
Okay, this one is the next question is for Lisa and Francesca. Francesca, you're going first.
See, I said you're going to.
Whoa.
What's
I
that?
can tell Lisa writes these questions. Name 3 reasons you'd wear a blindfold.
Ew.
A blindfold is something
To
that you
cover your eye, yeah.
Sorry, it's just like
In front of her
to
parents.
sleep.
Yeah. To sleep.
I have my parents here.
Oh, it's R-rated now.
I'm so sorry. I didn't even realize.
To sleep. And then, I'm not using a blindfold, but when I see horror movies, I always
You'll put a
that
blind-
like
okay.
that,
All right.
just to see that little thing. So yeah, these are the 2.5.
2.5 reasons.
Exactly.
Well, Lisa, you have 2 seconds because you've been thinking about it. 3
No,
reasons.
I haven't been thinking about
Well-
anything at all. Actually, my brain is actually on Steam.
3 reasons to wear a
Okay,
blindfold.
So one of them would be Duck Duck. Is it Duck Duck Goose? You know when they turn you
Ah,
and
they-
you have
they
that.
tape?
Wow.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
take
yeah.
duct
And-
tape?
This is really
For
like
serial
a
killers?
PG audience.
You know when they cover your eyes and they turn you?
No.
You have to find the person.
Yes.
Oh,
Ah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
It's all right.
that's pin the tail on the donkey.
I-
Yes,
Pin
pin
the
the tail
tail,
on
okay,
the donkey.
good
I
stuff.
never got the tail.
Well, I'm
That's
glad.
all I
I'm
gotta
glad we're
say.
talking about Sweet 16s now. All of a sudden. But anyway,
Oh, never mind. I was gonna say something bad.
right.
what else? What else?
Blindfold. If it's too sunny, you can have like a visor, almost like a blindfold.
Okay. Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Sure.
I know. I was
glad
gonna
I
say a
didn't get
third,
this
but her
question.
parents are here, so I can't
Gotcha.
do it.
Gotcha.
I can't do it.
Oh, just 50 Shades, you know.
50 Shades. There you
You know,
go.
you've seen the movie.
Christian Grey. Christian Grey. Red Room. What?
Annette, you got this one.
Uh-oh.
And you could use 50 Shades on this one. 3
would.
reasons you'd leave a party early.
It's boring.
Hmm.
I'm hungry.
Oh, nice.
4.
That's a good one.
Sorry.
Oh!
Sorry. I'm sorry. It's-
Blindfold.
I had to spice it up a little.
Hungry 4, he
Oh,
said.
sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
my
lost
bad.
in train- No, it's okay. Why would I leave a party? So it's boring. The music sucks.
That's the main.
That's-
That would be the main one. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Lisa and Francesca.
Lisa first now.
Lisa first. 3 people you think are cool other than me. What?
What?
Sorry.
They said cool. I said
Oh,
cool.
damn it.
I'm kidding.
What's the question?
3 people you think are cool.
You know what? I wrote this question, but I'm just wondering if it has to be limited to people.
Okay.
Like you know, like Mighty Mouse. Mighty Mouse is cool.
You have a seriously disturbed brain.
I'm creative.
Just
I'm
saying.
creative.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's stick to people. Let's take 3 people you
3
find
people
cool.
You think are cool. There's just so many people in the world. I got a second. Judge Judy.
Oh.
I think she's cool. She's pretty on target. Jimmy Fallon. I think he's pretty cool.
That is cool.
And Justin Timberlake.
Oh yeah, I love
JT.
that one.
JT.
Yeah.
All right.
I love his
I'm
stuff.
so confused.
Francesca?
I'm not saying anything.
3 people you think are cool.
I'm going with classes of people. So,
Okay.
firemen are very
Nice.
cool.
Cool.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Those
I
are
agree.
great
I agree.
heroes.
They're very good.
They're very hot. Yes.
Yeah,
They're
but
very
very hot,
protect-
but also because they're like heroes. Come on, guys.
They're
True,
protected.
true,
Yes.
true.
Yes.
Then I think a very cool people are able to be anarchic now. Like honestly, like to still believe in anarchy. Like,
Oh, okay.
They're cool in the way, really. Like,
Gosh, I can't. Okay, yeah.
but I mean,
That's-
okay,
Yeah.
but cool. Like, and then another thing. Well, doctors.
Okay.
I think now.
You mean doctors in costumes or actual doctors?
all of them.
Gotcha.
artistic.
Nothing like blue scrubs.
That's not what I was
I
talking
have
about.
musicians and artists in general.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm going to extend this question to Annette. 3 people you think are cool.
Like specific people?
Sure, why not?
I went generic.
So I just read Bruce Springsteen's biography.
He's awesome.
Wait,
yeah.
his
Yes.
biography was really well written. I
Mhm.
really enjoyed it
Okay.
a lot. And he's really brilliant
Mhm.
and fascinating. And he's 72.
Wow,
I know. And I would just,
amazing, huh?
yeah. Bruce Springsteen. I won't get into details.
Bruce, yeah, well, I'm imagining.
Bruce Springsteen, I think he's really cool. Oh, wow. Who else do I think is cool? Oof. God, that's hard because I don't.
Yeah, that's why. Like, I went generic for this reason.
Let me think. Gosh. I need time. I'm trying to think of a woman that I think is really cool. Like a,
True, yeah.
you know what? Joan Jett is cool.
Yeah,
I love her.
Because
Yes.
So cool.
I also read about her, and like when she started out, they used to whip beer bottles at her head when she
Really?
was
I didn't know.
performing because she was a woman playing an electric guitar
Yeah.
Yes.
in
Mhm.
bars, and men would throw beer bottles at her face.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So she's basically like she went through hell. They were not nice to her,
No.
and she's very cool.
Yeah, she's very
Like she came out of it okay. Number 2, who's number 3? I mean, I'm trying to think.
There's so many.
Michelle Obama, that's a good one.
Yeah,
She
that's
is.
a
She
good
is
one.
really cool.
Yes, I read her biography too. It was really good. Yeah. Yes, I do like Michelle Obama. That's good. That is
We
good.
have one more, and it's for Annette, but you know what? I'm going to extend it to the 3 of you.
All right.
So let's start Lisa, and we'll go that way.
Okay, let's start, Mego.
Name 3 things that you tell yourself in the mirror.
Hey.
I used to avoid myself.
You're
The
so
mirror
sexy.
sometimes.
No kidding. What do I tell myself? I tell myself you matter. Life throws you curveballs. It's just how you handle it. That matters. And be happy.
Does the mirror talk back to you? Sorry.
Depending on how much you've been drinking.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all about
It's
the consumption.
Gotcha.
And at what time you do like this
Yeah,
conversation with the
exactly.
mirror, like it's
And what you smoke.
I do it at 5:30 in the morning, and I'm like,
Annette?
hopeless case.
And that it's up to you.
Well, it's not always pretty things I say to the mirror.
No,
like,
no.
But you want my honest answer?
Yeah.
3 things that I look in the mirror and say,
Hmm.
fuck, you look tired. That's one of them. You've got this. You can do it. I do that too sometimes.
That's fantastic.
And no one cares. Just do it. No one cares.
No
Nobody
one-
really cares.
Yeah, I don't even
Fun.
look in the mirror for that. That's like
No,
my
no, but
that's
it's
my
like-
daily routine.
Who cares at the
Yeah.
end of
Yeah.
the day?
Yeah.
Why am I stressing?
Yeah.
No
It
one
is
really
what it
cares.
is.
True.
Yeah.
True. Francesca?
Well, one thing is like, does the jeans makes me fat?
It's
a classic.
These jeans.
Yeah.
I forgot about
Sec-
that one.
Second thing, I need to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Third thing, I even if life is, well, I don't have all this long conversation, but the thing is, I care in the sense like even if people, you know, are sometimes are mean or makes you sad, I care. I want to keep continuing caring, you know, be myself.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So sometimes I look at me and said, well, I'm sad because that guy, that person wasn't very nice with me. So should I change? and or should I stay the person I am? So it kind of being no. I'm gonna be consistent. I wanna care.
Gotcha.
So usually say just I care.
Okay. Just to make it short.
Unless I've been drinking and it's 3 a.m. and so I start saying no because people blah 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 whatever.
Gotcha.
So that takes.
Then you take both sides, right? You say one line and then you look the other.
Louis! Oh, we have to leave. Actually, can I throw something in there?
Yeah.
I do look at the mirror sometimes, going, "Why are you so foggy?"
That's.
I was just going to paraphrase what you were saying is just I would say don't let the bastards bring you down.
Yeah,
Damn right.
That I love.
Damn
That's
right.
so rock. That really rock.
Fuck him.
Yeah. Fuck him.
Yeah.
I think we got the sign from Louis, our producer, saying that it's time to bye-bye.
Yay.
So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in.
Thank you.
It was a blast. Thank you so much for being here, Annette.
Thank you, Annette.
Where can we find
Thank
you?
you.
Fast,
Yes,
Where can we find
yes.
you?
If people want to reach out to you.
Instagram, Annette Aghazarian, and Montreal Rocks too.
Sweet.
They're gonna
Sweet.
wonder how to spell my name though, and that's a doozer.
Oh, you want to spell it?
No,
We're gonna
No,
insert
they're
it.
gonna write to me.
we don't have enough time.
We are going to insert it for sure. So people, if they want to see the video, not if they want to, when they subscribe and watch this episode, they're going to get to see your name and search for you for sure.
Thank
Perfect.
you guys.
And don't miss Session with Steph for our twin podcast with
Our-
the amazing
Oh,
Stefano
yes.
Vanni.
Oh, stop.
Our twin, but he's a male. And
I look in the mirror too.
yeah, that's right. That's why I said it's foggy.
Very foggy.
So guys, tune in to also our series and our shorts, Li Combati, on our YouTube channel. You can find Talk It Out on our YouTube channel, and you can find Sessions with Steph on our YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. Nick, you can find as well. We're gonna have all the information on the screen. You guys are gonna be tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to JJR. Thank you to Johnny Cafe. Thank you to everybody. We love you all. Rock on, rock on.
Keep on rocking.
Woo! Bye, guys.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.